Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty, and as we always, I got with me a sick person, though. Might be. He coughing and hacking, y'all. So.
I'm not gonna cough and hack on the mic, hopefully.
Yeah,
So
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I know how to edit that out. You didn't have to say nothing.
See, look at that. Look right there. He gonna cut it out. Y'all not gonna hear it. He gonna cut it out.
What it do, people?
How was your trip? You've been gone. We've been gone.
We've been gone. It seemed like almost a month.
It hasn't been a month. It's been 3
been
weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
But we didn't record yesterday or last week rather because you went on a trip.
Yeah, we went to the on a cruise to the Bahamas. And this is our second cruise that we've gone on that you didn't participate in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had things going on.
Yeah, it's always something.
I'm trying to buy a house, man.
Well, the first time you said, "Oh, I think that's hurricane season."
It was hurricane season. I wasn't going during hurricane season. I don't care. This year, y'all didn't go during hurricane season. Actually, y'all went when we were frozen and had, what did they call it? A wind bomb, a storm,
a cyclone bomb or something like that. All the wind. But that was just this week. We were back by that time.
Oh, so y'all felt the cyclone?
No, we didn't feel any of that.
Oh, see.
But it felt good because I went from, it was like 30-something degrees when we left Kansas City, flew to Florida. And the trip to Florida was okay, but we had a delay. We were supposed to get there like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We think we're going to put our stuff in the hotel and go and kick it for the night because the cruise ship didn't leave until Friday. Uh-huh. And so all the flights going to Miami for Friday would get us there on Saturday. I'm like, that's not, we said Friday. I'm not trying to get there on Saturday. Okay. So we went the day before just in case. And then one of our flights was delayed.
So it's good.
And
y'all
so,
went
yeah.
early.
And so we didn't get there till like 9:30 at night. And it's like, okay, now what do? We don't know anybody. Both of our, it was me and my homeboy JT. We flew in Thursday. We don't know anybody. We're just trying to like hang out, but it's 9:30. And then the cab guy who was taking us to the hotel was like, this place is in walking distance. This place is in walking distance. I'm like, but this is Miami. And I said, I just know it'll be my luck that we get robbed. We get robbed.
I don't think Miami's that bad.
It may not be, but we look like tourists. You know, JT always got his KC hat on, we stand out. And then we're walking where we don't even know where we are.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm taking my ID. I'm taking like a debit card. That's it. But we walked maybe like 2 or 3 blocks, and they had this sports bar, and they had pretty good food. There was a lot of people there. That was unexpected, but I guess it was Thursday, so that was unexpected. But we wanted to go in like club, and had it been like lighter, earlier, maybe we could have figured some stuff out. Yes. Maybe we should have did that before we actually left. That's what we should have did. That would have been the responsible thing to do.
While you said you had a delay, while you were waiting on your delay, you could have got on your phone. Phones work everywhere, and you could have started making a plan.
Yep, but that's why we needed you to be there, because you seem like you the planner. But spent Thursday night in Miami, went to the cruise ship on Friday. Saturday morning, we were in the Bahamas. And, the first day on the cruise, you've never been on a cruise, but cruises are a lot of fun, actually. And people are always surprised when I tell them that I'm going on a cruise because they're like, but you don't like people. And then you don't like, being like, I don't like flying.
Right.
I don't like people. And then being on a cruise ship in the middle of the water, surrounded by all these people, it makes no sense.
So much that you don't like, but you love going
because it's so much fun, and you don't realize that you're actually on the boat because of all the different things you get to do. And every night, Mike B is at the club. I'm at the club. I'm kicking it. I'm 13, not 13 because you can't get in the club at 13, but I'm 22 again. Doing my old school dance moves. Everybody looking at me like, what? What is that? But
just saying,
the
I'm
fact that they don't know
old.
me, I don't have to care. I'm having a good time. I'm on vacation. I'm enjoying myself. But by Saturday morning, we had made it to the Bahamas, which it was a pretty short cruise to get to the Bahamas. And we stayed in the Bahamas from like 9 Saturday morning until 6:30 Sunday morning. So we were there overnight. So we got to get out and like see the town, see the place. We went to the beach. Like I had a good time. And then we went back on the ship in order to eat because, Kadar, he went and had some like jerk chicken. Their thing they kept like pushing for us was conch whatever that is, like some type of squid type thing.
I've heard of that, and I heard it's real good.
It may be, but I'm just now getting into seafood.
I know.
I'm not. We just had a conversation about you and sardines. So
yeah, I'm sorry. I like sardines.
Yeah, no, that's a problem. So I wasn't about to do that. We went back on the ship and ate, with the captain or whatever, and then got to party that night with the locals. And so that was a lot of fun. Stayed out till like 2:00 in the morning, then got back, and I might be back in the club on the cruise. It was a good time.
So Mike B was basically up all night.
Oh, yeah.
Sleep 2-3 hours.
And that probably contributed to why once I got back home and my body started to regulate itself.
You're dying inside. Yeah. There you go again.
I started to come down with something. It was a lot of fun, though. So next time, you should actually experience it.
I'm going to go. It was just house came up, and it was like,
it's always,
which one is more important?
No, I totally understand that. Have you been looking for more houses?
I've been looking. I'm not happy with the selection I'm finding. I'm not one of those people. I don't want to, everybody else. Well, you buy a starter house and then you get a bigger house after that. No.
You feel like it's too late in the house for a starter house?
Well, no, I just. My starter is my ender. It may, but the house itself may start off small, but I want my house to grow with me. Therefore, I want land. I need a nice chunk of land.
Just expand
and then
the
I
house.
can expand the house, and I can make changes to the house as I get older. And then, once I get to the point where I can't go upstairs anymore, I can put a little room downstairs.
You could just get a bucket.
That's nasty.
It happens,
No, anyway. So
I wouldn't judge you.
I want I have certain standards, certain basics that I want. And everything I'm finding is just, I'm looking at some of these houses and I'm like, dude, this ain't even worth the price you asking me for. Mm-hmm. Because I can tell from right here, looking at a picture online, that there are foundation issues. I can tell from right here, looking at a picture online, that you got a flooding problem and you want $90,000, $100,000 for this house. This don't make sense. Nope. And then I don't like the people who, we went in and we just remodeled this and we just remodeled that. And it's kind of like if you go and buy a car and you look at the engine and it's completely clean, but it's a used car, they covering something up. It's like, what are you covering up?
They replaced the engine.
Yeah, not likely at a used car dealership. So something just is not right. So I'm very picky. I'm picky. Let's be real. Yeah. And if you think I'm picky about a piece of software I'm using on my computer, I'm dang on sure picky about something I'm getting ready to go into debt over. So,
and that's understandable.
And that's been the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing I have ever purchased in my life. My entire life.
And so you should probably take it seriously.
I don't want something I don't like. I don't want something I don't want. And I live in Tornado Valley. I must have a basement. Do you know how many houses in the city don't have a basement? That's ridiculous.
Right. Especially for it to be in Kansas City or Kansas City, Kansas.
Right.
Because of the tornadoes.
The middle of Tornado Alley. And there's no basement. I'm like, this is not right.
But you probably got solid bathtubs.
No. See, that's all I need. Like the house I'm in right now, it had a solid bathtub. It had, I remember when they took that bathtub out of that house, they had to use a sledgehammer to break it up to get it out. And the pieces were heavy. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what they were, but they were like real heavy, some kind of like porcelain steel or something like. I watched him and I was like, good God. He's like, you want to come take a whack? Like, oh, that looked like fun, but I didn't. But it had a good bathtub, but you know where it was?
Where?
In the front of the house, right up under the window.
Right.
It's like, okay, good bathtub or not.
But you also got that little cubby underneath your house.
I'm not going under there.
But it's somewhere to go.
I've been in my house.
If it's a tornado, you wouldn't go under there?
I've been in my house 13 years. I've never been in that dang on little cubby hole. It was a tornado, I think, a mile away from my house once.
You didn't think about it?
I thought about it. My mom was still working, and she was at a school in Grandview, and they sent all of them down under for shelter. And Grandview is not that far away from Raytown. So they sent all of them down in the shelter and everything. And she couldn't get me, of course, because all the cell phone signals were out. My grandmother was calling, and she's is everybody okay? And the house phone cut out on her. And it was so funny. My mama said, I was texting, and she said, out of all my children, you were the only one I was worried about, because I knew you wasn't going to take your ass down in that little thing. Like, you're right. I refused.
You're going to have to get over that. Well, you're about to get another house. So,
I need to get another house.
Right.
And that's one of the main things I'm looking for. Something with a basement that I won't be scared to go into. Because if I feel like it's 20,000 spiders down there, I'm not going in there either.
Lord have mercy. If you feel like that, you can change that. You can hire somebody to go down there and make sure there's not 20,000 spiders.
Well, I've
there.
already decided. They said, excuse me. They one of the things, you have to get an appraisal when you get a house, but that's for the bank. You have to get an inspection. You don't have to get an inspection, but you should get an inspection so you know what's going on, because once you sell a house, it's yours. And if you find out a week down the line you got a bad roof, then you got to pay for it. But I was like, well, I will be getting a pest inspection, because if I find out later that I got snakes or 50,000 spiders coming out my wall,
like unavoidable.
That's why I will be getting a pest. No, I understand. Like the little green ones, greenish yellow ones that sit up in the corners of the wall. Those don't bother me.
Spiders, or you talking about snakes? Okay,
spiders. Those don't bother me. They usually always stay at the top at the cracks between your wall and your ceiling. And they're never really that big, so they don't really bother me. But if I got a wolf spider in there, we got a problem. If I got I saw one lady, she was living in a house, and she was like, ooh, what's this? And she pulled some paint off the wall, and all of a sudden like 2,000 little spiders come flying out. Do you know I will pack and leave and never come back?
I feel like at that point it's time to pack and leave.
I'm out. I'm not going to do it. And then I have asthma, so I have to make sure they look in the walls and make sure there's no mold or anything in the walls. So
understandable.
Some things I have to do, but it's been an experience.
A pest inspection.
So
extra.
Anywho, I do need to tell this really quick story. I have a problem.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me.
Anywho, I have a real problem, like with Criminal Minds. I really need to stop binge watching Criminal Minds. So my neighbor, she works during the day. She usually leaves before I get up in the morning, and I'm up by 7. She's usually gone before then, and she doesn't come back until about 5:30, 6 o'clock. She comes in, and I see her come in on my cameras because I'm working. And I can't help but see it. It's sitting at my desk. And she works. She works the majority of the week. She's off 2 days a week. I think like one weekend day and one
day during the week.
Weekday. But I know her schedule. Anywho, so I'm working, and I noticed it was a nice warm day. Everybody was outside. Neighbors were doing their thing, because most of my neighbors are retired now. And they were out, and they were doing all the little stuff that they have to do. And I'm just in there working and not thinking anything about it. The guy right across the street from my neighbor, he had been out in his yard all day long. So he comes over to me, and I saw him coming to the door, and I was like, well, let me get up, because I got that sign on my door that says don't knock on my door. So I went to the door, and I opened it so he would know he was okay. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And he said, well, your neighbor her garage door has been open all day long, and I'm getting ready to go in. I don't know if we should call the police or what. And I'm thinking, call the police? Oh, well, let me just call her. I'll call her and let her know. And so he's like, okay, let me know if maybe we should call the police, because he's afraid to leave it open and go in the house now, and nobody's watching her house. And so I called her, and she didn't answer. And so I just walked on over there, and I go in, and
You went in her house?
I went into the garage.
Okay.
To shut the door.
Okay.
And so I hit the little button, and I come, and I'm jumping over the beams and trying to do some gymnastics to get out. So the door will go down still without me tripping it. And I had to do it 3 times. But finally, I got out, and the door kept going down.
I would have loved to see this video.
But when I went in there, when I first called out at her, I called, and I was like, are you in there? She didn't say anything. Her dog didn't bark. Now, she's got a dog like mine, a little dog. So little dogs bark. When they hear anything, they barking up a storm. And she didn't bark. And I didn't think anything of it immediately. I jumped, and I got on out.
You think maybe she was walking the dog? But go ahead.
As soon as the door went down, it hit me. That dog should have barked. There's absolutely no reason that dog shouldn't have barked. Something is wrong. So I'm like, okay. So I'm walking to my house and I'm calling her again, and I didn't text her, and I'm like, okay. And about 10 minutes later, no response. And I'm like, okay, I'm a text her sister, or I am her sister on Facebook, because her sister's on Facebook and we're Facebook friends. And
this is too much.
Now her sister don't know me, right? Wait, it ain't went nowhere yet.
Oh my!
Her
goodness.
sister don't know me, so I'm like,
wait a minute. She don't know you, but y'all are friends on Facebook, or you just know that she's
with
on
my neighbor.
Okay,
and she's on my neighbor's. She's on.
But
her
you know
friend
who
list.
the sister is.
So I know. Yeah, they have the same last name, so I know who she is. And I'm like, okay, I'm an emailer, or I am her, so that way, at least if something's wrong, somebody will know. And so I go back to my desk, and something says, no, don't do it. It's too soon. It's only been 10 minutes. So I get back to my desk, right? And I'm just type it away. And then it really hits me. It's 8:00 at night. She comes home she's home by 6:30. By 8:00 at night, she's in the bed because she has to get up so early. And now I'm freaking out. I'm like, okay, she should have been home. She's not responded. She's not texted. Oh my God, I am freaking out. The only person I know is her father. I've met him. We've talked, but he's not on Facebook. So I'm like, okay, I am her sister. Oh my God, I sure hope she's okay. But then part of me is like, I hope I don't make her sister freak out for no reason.
Because this random lady is IMing me about my sister.
So I am her, and I'm like, hey, you don't know me.
And then to start it out, you don't know me, but.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm your sister's neighbor. Her garage door's been open all day. And I was like, I watch Criminal Minds. I'm sorry if I am overreacting, but this is very odd. I mean, 13 years I've been living here. She has never done that before. And so I'm just, giving her the rundown and everything. And I'm like, so just, you may want to check on her and just make sure she's okay, because I can't get her. And I just want to talk to somebody before I go to bed. And so no sooner than I hit the send button, my neighbor calls me. I'm like, oh, thank God. First of all, you're alive. Second of all, and I told her, your sister is going to call you. You need to try to call her before she calls you and let her know that your neighbor watches too much TV.
So, what was the issue?
She didn't go to work that day. She had jury duty.
Okay.
She had been home for a while. She ran out to go to a friend's house to pick up Girl Scout cookies. She hadn't been gone that long. And she didn't realize she left the garage door open. And she said the dog is now having a hearing problem. Dog's old.
Oh, okay.
And the dog is having a hearing problem. And she probably just didn't hear me. And I was like, oh, well,
that's
at least
a lot.
I'm like, at least you're alive. But I mean, all I could think of is just like the first 48 kept going through my mind. If she's in there, if she's hurt, it could be me reaching out, could be the difference between her dying and then somebody coming to her rescue.
Right.
I was so scared.
Look at you being a hero.
I just need to not watch Criminal Minds anymore.
No, but I feel like all of that put together would be cause for concern, considering you've been living there for 13 years. It's unusual behavior, and even for her to just randomly be at jury duty.
Right.
Now you know that the dog can't hear.
Right.
you know the dog. All of that put together, I think that was cause for concern. Look at you, saving the day.
No, they saved no day. So her sister IM'd me the next morning, and she's like, I saw this. I didn't read it. I didn't know who you were.
Oh, Lord.
She's like, but she said my neighbor had called her. She's like, that's the only reason I knew this was here. So she said, so first and foremost, thank you so much for looking out for my sister. Don't ever feel bad for calling me and reaching out if you think something's wrong. And she said, secondly, I'm adding you to my friends list.
Right on. So you made a new friend.
Yeah, I made a new friend.
Look at Criminal Minds bringing people together.
So anyway, you got to pay for me.
Excuse me. I do. And I feel like we may have touched on this before, but it's been back in the news. So we're going to retouch on it because it's an excellent thing to talk about. But this week for Black Achievements and Excellence, we are honoring Jaden Smith. And I'm sure you've probably heard about this. It says Jaden Smith is helping the residents of Flint, Michigan through a new initiative. The rapper, actor, and co-founder of the eco-friendly company Just Water has partnered with the local Flint church to deploy a mobile water treatment system. The system is called the water box, and it filters out lead and additional contaminants in the water. So it says the water box will produce up to 10 gallons of clean drinking water per minute. And it's tested every day with use and every few weeks by an independent and certified laboratory. And the residents of Flint, Michigan will be able to fill any container of their choice with clean water. And this filtration device will be available through this particular church. And they'll have like distribution times and all of that. But the fact that you don't really hear about the government doing their part in order to fix this system. But you have, some of our people, and then shout out to Jaden for at least even considering and still thinking about the people of Flint, Michigan, because a lot of people have forgotten that they still don't have clean water, and it's utterly ridiculous.
Well, I know Will Smith said a while ago that he would not leave Flint alone until this was fixed. He was right there with him. So I'm glad to see his son stepping up. I think they raised some good kids. I think, there has been some things in the media to make you wonder about the two of at least the two of them. But ultimately, they both have really big hearts. Mm-hmm. And I think they have a really good conscience. And that to me is more important than anything else.
Right. They can be eccentric, eclectic, all that, and weird to some of them. But when it all boils down, it's still, like you said, it seems like they have good hearts and they're looking out for people.
Right.
And so I can only,
they do a lot of giving back.
Appreciate that.
As a matter of fact, have you seen any of Will Smith's bucket list on Facebook?
No, I saw where he jumped out of an airplane or something like that, or skydive, or
he made
swam
his
with sharks.
Entire family jump out of an airplane with him.
I see, they ain't about to happen. I don't even want to
say
ride safe. Well, I do want to ride safely on the airplane, but I don't want to be on an airplane. Period.
Right? No, they jumped. But his mother-in-law, his father-in-law, Jada, Willow, Jaden, and Trey, they all jumped. And his father-in-law had a mini heart attack.
Oh, see, that would have been me.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And I would have shit myself. I'm keeping it real.
But his father-in-law had a mini heart attack, I think it was, on the way down. And Jaden was so mad at Will. He's like, "This is your thing. You can't force everybody to be part of it."
Yeah, I can understand that.
So mad at
because like, if I have a heart attack or if something happens and I pass out, because I think I'm going to pass out too. I'm just keeping it real. Who's going to catch me? Is the parachute going to automatically deploy?
They didn't go down by themselves.
Oh, okay.
They were attached to someone else.
Oh, look at God.
So they didn't go down by themselves. But it was just his reaction was so in your face, and he was like, "You like to do this stuff, and this stuff is fun." He's like, "I don't mind doing it with you," but he did kind of talk. I know we all know he talked Jada into doing it. She is afraid of heights too. She was
really?
like, "No, I'm not doing this." But she promised him anything he wanted for his birthday, and so this is what he asked for. All I'm thinking, it's got to be a lot. It's got to be other things you can't get.
I would if my wife tries to get me to jump out of an airplane, knowing my phobia and how anxious and how stressful being on a plane is, I think that's the grounds for divorce. That's ground. I mean, I've flown probably 30, 40 times, and it never gets easier. And it's nothing I can do about it. I wish I could get on a plane and just relax.
Poor thing.
It never gets easier. And even the flight on the way home, Monday night, I mean, it was just so stressful. I just kept feeling like the plane is just going to fall. And then to come back and hear about those Boeing planes that were nose diving and crashing, that I felt like that was going to be me. I mean, we didn't have like much turbulence or anything. Just the fact that I'm not in control and there's nothing I can do if anything happens. Like, I just can't get over that anxiety. And every flight is so stressful.
I just pray that when God takes me, no matter how he takes me,
it's quick.
If it's painful or if it's scary, I pass out. I pass out before I even know what's going on. And then I'm gone and never know, because that's the thing. The death, I think, is I'm okay with.
Yeah,
it's how, because I mean we all gonna go.
We all gonna die.
And I don't want to go before my mom. I really don't. I think that would kill my mom. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, the only thing I don't want to be scared. I don't want to be panicked.
Oh,
that's it.
Well, you want to be one of those peaceful, let me go in my sleep
My
type
great
thing.
my great aunt died.
I wouldn't mind.
My great aunt died a couple of weeks ago. She was 100. Well, she would have been 105 this year, and she fell down the stairs a few years ago, and she was laying on the floor and she's bloody and everything, and she's thinking, well, I guess this is how God's gonna take me. She's not scared. She's just knowing her time is coming. So she's laying there and thinking, okay, this is how God's gonna take me. And she hear the ambulance come, and the fireman comes in her house because they have a key. She had given them a key to get in her house, and they come in and they pick her up and they ask her if she's okay, and she's like, well, I guess God ain't gonna take me. Damn.
Wow.
Because she had been, she's 105.
Right.
She's ready
lived.
to go for a while. So she's like, I guess it ain't gonna take me.
How were they alerted of her fall? She has a monitor or something?
She's one of those, I've fallen and I can't get up things.
Okay.
So they immediately came and they just opened her door. And I guess she gave them a key because she didn't want them knocking down her door. Mm-hmm. And she had locked herself out one day in her bathrobe, and she went and called the fire department. And the little girl next door, she wasn't coming to the door. She's like, nobody's home. She wouldn't call the fire department. So she called my uncle. My uncle's in Texas. She's in Michigan. And my uncle's like, well, what am I supposed to do about it? She's like, well, I can't get in the house. And he says, well, call the fire department. And she says, no, I can't. I'm in my bathrobe. She didn't want to be
inappropriate.
She didn't want to be inappropriate. And her bathrobe got a zipper, looked like a house coat.
Oh, she
come down her ankles. Come on.
Oh, she made it seem like she had some sexy lingerie.
Nah, she didn't want to be inappropriate. So
she old school.
So she's just one of those. But she passed a couple of weeks ago, and she went to sleep and just didn't wake up.
That seemed like
so. That's how I want to go. Just go to sleep and not wake up. No pain, no nothing,
and don't even know about it.
Not until I see them pearly gates, because I'm gonna see them pearly gates. Anywho, well, good job, Jaden. Woohoo! Got to get my woohoo in there.
Right on. Before you get into your stories,
okay.
Did you hear the one about the young girl who decided to try and take a selfie with the Jaguar?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I think the zoo should sue her.
Because she got mauled.
Yes, I think they need to. I do. Okay, and I'm gonna say this, and I hope I don't offend anybody out there, but this is something black folk don't do.
Not too often. No, now we crazy enough to take pictures with the casket and the body in the casket.
That's what we do, but we don't.
But not a live wild animal.
We don't mess with live wild animals. Jaguars, coyotes, gorillas,
tigers.
You rarely ever see a story about a black person unless somebody has truly fallen in and there's something wrong with the zoo. Otherwise, you ain't gonna see nothing like that with black folk and an animal. It's just not gonna happen. And
I've never seen a picture of someone with an animal, and I was like, that's a really good picture. Like, I wonder how they got so close to the hyena or anything.
No,
I've never cared about you know what? Go ahead.
No, she's sitting there trying to take this selfie, and she get mauled.
What do you think she was going to get for that nice picture? Likes
on her.
You damn near
Facebook
lost your life
page?
for likes. Well, I tell you, this generation,
and honestly,
our generation is ridiculous with technology, likes and clicks and views. The shit we do is ridiculous.
Because my generation don't do that.
I know y'all still got typewriters, but I'm just saying
that's okay. We
y'all
ain't
safe.
Getting mauled
y'all
by
safe.
the tigers.
Y'all safe with y'all typewriters.
Honestly, I think the zoo should sue her to teach a lesson. They say don't come this far for a reason.
For your protection.
She didn't do it on the outside.
They said that she crossed over the little border.
Over the first border. Mm-hmm. That border is there for a reason. You know that sign on the street that say stop? Yeah. That sign is there for a reason.
True. A lot of people think it says pause.
Yeah, if you run it, okay, you might make it, but one day you might not.
Right.
I don't understand. So, anywho. Okay.
And you may not be the one being hurt. You may hurt somebody else, but that's still your fault. And I think that's a lot of things people don't consider when it comes to not obeying traffic laws.
I think the other thing is like you have to remember.
Not obey. Remember you almost hit that guy on that bike?
I did not almost hit that guy on that bike, number one.
Never
and number
forget
two,
that.
He was the one in the wrong area, number two. But I did not almost hit him. Anywho, But I think we also don't forget, we say you have to live with it, but it's also you have to live with the fact that you took a life. And that's a lot harder for a regular person who's just, I'm not even saying the best person in the world, but just a normal person. That's a very difficult thing to live with.
I would think so.
It really
the fact that you were the cause of someone not being here anymore. That'd be hard to live with.
And then you got to, when you come Judgment Day,
you got to answer
God
for
might
it.
say, you at the wrong spot.
Not these pearly gates.
He might say you got to redo.
And so you be reincarnated into a Jaguar.
Yeah, might be. Yeah, I think a lot of people got redos. So there's a lot of dead people I know didn't get into heaven. They don't deserve heaven.
They don't deserve heaven.
They don't deserve hell either. That's the thing. They don't deserve the worst of the worst, but they ain't not ready for the best of the best either. So I think God just said, redo.
Try again.
Anywho. So first and foremost, let's start out with New Zealand. And our hearts and prayers go out to the families of anyone that was lost. The death toll now is 50 people. So for those of you who don't know, a white man went into not one but two mosques in New Zealand and just started shooting up the place because he was bored and didn't have anything else to do.
It seems like this is becoming a normal occurrence. Like, I'm surprised to hear that it happened in New Zealand. It's something that I would assume would continue to happen in the United States because of the rhetoric that we hear coming from the top.
Right. Well, and that's what makes it so bad when they asked him about it and told him, it was a white terrorist.
When they asked 45?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He said, and they asked him if he thought white terrorists were on the rise. He's, oh no, this is just one bad person, one really, really bad person. Kind of like the whole Charlotte thing.
Right. Yeah. Charlottesville.
And the FBI, the New Zealand, everybody disagrees. Everybody's trying to get him to understand that these attacks from white supremacists and these white groups and white men and, well, just white men mostly, are on the rise. They're up like 17% now. Hate crimes are up 17%.
Well, but I don't know why they would try to get him to understand. He knows exactly what's going on. He's not an idiot. Well, he is an idiot, but he knows that he's fueling this fire because he's trying to stoke fear in people. So it's nothing new. It's the same old. He understands exactly what's going on. This is a game that he's playing, and I hate it. He knows nobody's going to hold him accountable because they aren't. Just because they make him maybe recant or change some of the things that he's saying, he's still not acknowledging that, that his words mean things. His words incite people. His words cause violence. And he's starting to use more words to incite more violence because he knows the effect that it's having. He's not new.
Right.
He's being very manipulative. What he's doing. Very manipulative.
He knows exactly what he's doing. He's part of the problem, so that did come out. But this guy, he wrote a manifesto.
I heard 80 pages. I heard Trump being mentioned in it. I heard Candace Owens being mentioned in it. I heard white supremacists being mentioned in it.
It was 87 pages, and when he went to court, he did some kind of white supremacist sign. They didn't detail exactly what the white gesture was, but it was a hand. Okay, it was a hand gesture.
If it's the same picture that I'm talking about, they blurred out his face, but you can clearly see his hands in great detail. Where he put up the white power symbol, like the OK sign, but what they say stands for white power.
It's sad, and the reality is, I understand what's going on. For thousands of years now, the white colonizer has basically run every country on this planet. They've done whatever they wanted to do, taken what they wanted, however they wanted, and their reign is coming to an end. Mm-hmm. So they're doing everything they can. This is like their last stand. This is it. They're doing everything they can to try to beat this. They're scared because they're scared. They're getting ready to be thrown out of power. And the reality is they are, because they don't have the same brainwashing that they had back during slavery. TV and video and Facebook and all this is out here, and you can see things, and now you cannot go to a white person and say that this black person is an animal when they live next door to him and they're saying, no, I'm not, or no, he's not. I know this person. They're a nice guy. So all of those people who were just full of hate for no reason but the color of skin, these next generations coming up are not that way.
Okay.
And
which is I believe why behind the scenes you got more and more white supremacist groups coming together and forming in order to try and stop that.
Right, and that's it. They're all trying to those that are left are trying to stop the changes that are coming. This is the reality of the world. You all came in, you took what was not yours. And now what's happening is God is just fixing it. He took a long time to do it, but hey, God don't always come when you call, but he always come when you need him. So it's time, and things are changing. So there is a fear here, and I get it, but this ain't the way to handle it. But notice that man is in jail. He's in custody in jail. Now, I know that New Zealand ain't America, but if it was in America and it was a black man, he'd be dead.
Right.
So.
But how often? Remember how surprising the DC sniper was when he turned out to be black? And then even the shooter in Dallas, when he turned out to be black, those are rare occasions.
A serial killer,
and you hear about mass shootings,
a mass murderer is
it's
very
always
rare.
90% of the time it's a white person.
99% of the time it is a white male. It is very rare for it to be a woman. It is very rare for it to be any other race or ethnicity. So our hearts and prayers go out to the people in New Zealand, and this is their first mass shooting in years, in decades. This just doesn't happen there.
And I was hearing that I think it was the Attorney General over there was like, "Hey, we're about to ban assault rifles."
Oh,
after one,
they quit. They ain't playing.
And it's like,
around.
you know how many have happened here, and all we can get from Congress is thoughts and prayers. Like we've been down this road before.
Well, good for the AG. I sure hope y'all get it on the books. Okay, so R. Kelly.
Mm-hmm. He's been in the news for like 3, 4, 5 weeks straight.
R. Kelly was crying on TV.
Oh, you saw the interview?
I ain't seen the interview. Okay. I seen clips, and I think it's quite funny. Everybody's one thing. My best friend, she called me when she first saw the first clip on the news. Mm-hmm. She says, R. Kelly just need to go to jail. I said, why? I said, you think he's guilty? She said, I don't care if he's guilty or not. He acted a fool. He just need to go to jail.
Because of the interview?
Yeah. No, the interview hadn't even aired. All she saw was a little clip.
Okay.
This was the day before it was supposed to air. She's like, he gonna be on the news in the morning. Gayle King is interviewing him. Girl, this is some crazy mess. She said, he acting a fool. He's just acted a plain fool. And Gayle King just sitting there like, okay, sit down. And so she said, and watch, when everybody see it, white people going to be seeing how scary he was and how intimidating he looked and how she was probably terrified. She said, this woman is not terrified.
She looks so
she is absolutely not terrified. And so I laughed. Well, of course, the interview airs, and then The View starts talking about it. And of course, the white ladies, women, yeah. Oh, he looked so scary, and he looked like he was going to hurt her. And I'm like, does she look bothered to you? Mm-hmm. She was in 100% control. That dude was not bothering her.
He was just emotional.
He was just acting a fool. And so I've watched, like I said, I've watched bits and pieces of this. And then he's going to jail because of his not paying child support. And then, trying to get his money at the bank, and the banker telling him it takes 7 days to get him a new account and get he got the new account, but it took 7 days for him to move the money over. I'm like, why? Does that sound right to you? Okay, so if it didn't sound right to you, why are you still on the phone with this woman? Why aren't you down at the bank telling them to move your money?
Everybody don't know your rules. How you? Let me speak to your manager.
Right.
Who else is at the bank?
Like, why are we still having this conversation? That's all I keep thinking is why. And so he's just this acting a fool and then getting out of jail and going to McDonald's. It's like, dude, really? Okay, whatever. Like I said, I don't know if he did it or not. I don't take no woman's word for nothing when it comes to rape, because bottom line, so many women have lied about it. I want to hear this. I want to hear your story, and I want you to get due process. I want you to be taken seriously. That's what I want from this Me Too movement. When a woman makes a claim of this magnitude or sexual harassment or whatever, I want women to be heard. I want them to be taken seriously. I want them to be able to press charges. I want them to have their day in court. And I want a jury of their peers, not of 12 white men, old white men, but a jury of their peers mixed in, to be able to sit and listen to that story and make a determination just like we would with any other case. That's what I want.
I feel like you cleaned it up nicely, because you started out saying, I don't believe no woman.
No, I'm not going to blindly believe any woman. I'm sorry. I just won't, because I've watched this system in place just a few years ago, just like a year or two ago.
You feel like the majority of women who come out saying...
No, I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm not saying that.
I'm going off of the way you're saying it, and that's what it's sounding like. I just
not
want to clear it up for the viewers to make
all.
sure that's not what you're saying.
Absolutely not at all.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, just last year, or was it the year before, some white woman said a black man raped her. Come to find out, it did not happen. They did arrest that white woman, but nothing happened. I
feel like that's different, because that's white woman, black man. I feel like that's a different statistic, because that happens way more than it needs to happen. It shouldn't happen at all. But we understand that.
When it comes to people with money and people without money, the statistic can be just as high. If you take white man or take black man and black woman out of it, put white man and white woman, the statistic rises just as much when it comes to money and no money. Trying to get something.
Well, see, with that, you introduce something else, because the white man can be guilty and still nothing happens.
Well,
in
that
situation.
You're right.
So it's not. I don't think it's a matter of her falsely, accusing, which is a little bit different.
I don't know if she falsely accused. I'm
talking about the white women and white men.
I will never say any woman is not telling the truth. I won't say that, because I don't know. I was not there, and even if it was something that I may not have taken personally as, that maybe that person did. I was not there. I don't know. I'm not saying any of those women were lying. What I'm saying is, I will never be the one for you to come to and say, this is what happened to me, and me automatically say, okay, convict him, put him in jail. No, I want to hear both sides of the story, because there are 3 sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth. And I want to hear both sides so I can at least try to come close to the truth. Now, from what I've seen of him acting a fool, I don't believe a word out of his mouth. And then, of course, from what we've all heard over the years about Aaliyah, and they were married and she was underage. That's fact. These things that we have, they
paint a picture.
They paint a picture that makes these women sound very credible. But I won't blindly believe. That's what I'm saying. I will never do that. So don't expect that from me. But now here's where I got a problem. I got a real problem. Now I understand people saying, I understand when you tell me I don't want to listen to R. Kelly. R. Kelly can't be played in my house. Your prerogative, your house, your ears, your rules. I got that.
Right.
I'm fine with that. But I got a problem when you tell me I'm in a church and the church is singing I Believe I Can Fly. And
walking
if
out.
I'm in
we
the
walking
church,
out.
No, you can walk out.
We walking out.
Knock yourself out. See ya. But if I want to sit and spread my wings, I should be able to. And I should not be condemned because I didn't walk out because of something R. Kelly did and nothing that had anything to do with me. I say that because Mayor de Blasio was in a black church. And the black church started singing R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly. And he got to doing his wings just like the people in the black church. He was being a part of the service. Only white man in there. He was a part of the service.
And that's the song they chose to sing?
That's the chose. Hey, now, understand, I don't believe I Believe I Can Fly was written by R. Kelly. I honestly, truly believe it is a remake.
I'm asking, is that the song they chose to sing?
That's the song they chose to sing.
Okay.
But so they sang it.
And they were doing the wing flapping.
They was doing the wing flapping, and so was he.
Okay. He got backlash for that?
He got a lot of backlash for it. Are you kidding me? How could you dance to an R. Kelly song? Dude was like, I didn't even know it was R. Kelly. But you know what? There's an old white man. I believe that.
Right. I can understand that.
Are you?
So was the church condemned for singing an R. Kelly song?
Not really.
Okay. They weren't talking about the church. They were
talking about him. They were focused on him.
Okay.
That's where we go too far. There is a such thing as too far. Okay, and that's it. Okay, for those that don't know, that's it. If you don't want to be there and you want to walk out, great. All those people of course, I was watching The View when I heard this story. So, Sunny Hostin, she says, now there's a black woman. She says, nope. I don't want to support him in any way. How could they do that? How could they sit there singing his song? He's getting paid for that. I'm like, okay, first of all, this is a black church.
The church, they got to send the donation. They got to send the donation to R. Kelly.
If anything, he's paying the church. So, come on. He's not making money for this. The song's already written. If you're listening to it on your iPod, that means you already bought it. Mm-hmm. So you've already given him your money. This is kind of like, remember when Kaepernick first, the whole thing went down with Kaepernick in the beginning, and people started throwing away their jerseys and burning them?
Just like when Nike had the Kaepernick ad, and white folks start burning their Nike
like
gear.
You've already paid for this. Mm-hmm. You're not hurting anybody. Now, if you stop buying, that's a whole nother story. Okay, stop buying R. Kelly. But here's the problem with R. Kelly. Do you know how much music R. Kelly has written and produced that you don't know about? So you sitting there in your car grooving and, let me buy that song.
You got to be like me and just don't listen to music.
Oh, Lord.
All I listen to YouTube.
Anywho, so my point is, being mad at the mayor because he was flapping his wings to "I Believe I Can Fly," that's too far. You can't get mad at him for something somebody else did. That's just wrong on so many levels.
But you can be mad. I'll give you permission.
No, you are not the boss.
And be mad at that church too.
Now, if you want to be mad at the church, knock yourself out. But like I said, I don't.
Yeah, I can understand if he requested the song.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if he went to, hey, can you sing R. Kelly?
He passed a note to the pastor.
But and I'll have to double check. But I don't think he wrote that song. I believe it's a remake.
Oh, but nobody knows about that. We attribute that song to R. Kelly.
That's because y'all don't know music.
Oh, it don't matter.
So,
it don't matter.
But I believe
we attribute it to R. Kelly. When you hear it, you think about R. Kelly's version of the song. The fact that nobody even knows whoever else you talking about is R. Kelly.
Anywho, college. I went to college and graduated, right?
Yeah, recently.
I've been fussing about how much it costs to go to college.
Yeah, them student loans.
Yeah. Somebody's mama paid $500,000 just to get them into college.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to go. They just wanted to go to the parties.
When I heard this story, my question was, how much was tuition? If $500,000 you paid just to get them in.
Yeah, I didn't pay $500,000 for all 4 years. I didn't do that.
No, I don't know. Well,
I didn't even hit $100,000 for 4 years.
That's extreme. So tuition must have been sky high. Well, if you felt like this was a benefit, but if you got $500,000 to pay, I feel like y'all don't need college. Yeah, like we good.
I feel like if all she wanted to do was go and party, okay. And
who are we talking about? Yeah, who are we talking about? Let me
back up first and foremost. It's a lot of people in this bribery scheme. A lot of names have come out. Some of them I don't know. Some of them I do. One woman, I don't even know her name. She was on social media telling kids not to cheat. Come to find out, she cheated for her son to get into school. Mm-hmm. Her son, of course, went to social media and said he knew nothing about it, and if he would have been very upset. I don't know how true that is, but whatever. But specifically, Felicity Hoffman, $15,000 to get her child into school, and Lori Loughlin from Full House, she paid $500,000 not once but twice to get both her daughters into school. Now, first of all, I want them to stop saying $500,000 twice and just say $1 million.
Oh, was it $1 million or was it $500,000 for both daughters?
$500,000 for one. $500,000.
Oh, so it was $1 million. Okay,
that's $1 million. I done counted this up, and I keep saying, "Is my calculator right? Why don't they just say $1 million?" Because that's what she paid. Let me tell you, and any future child that God might decide on a whim to give me because he being funny, I will never pay for my child to do something that they can't do themselves. Meaning, If you can't get in school on your own merit, I ain't paying for that. That's crazy.
Okay, well, I can understand as a parent paying to help with tuition, but not to get them in.
I can help them.
Yeah,
I will help. But these people were not. This ain't tuition money.
No, and it's not application fee money. It's not ACT test score money.
Nope.
It's not that. Or I'm sorry, ACT test money, not score, because it ended up being like score money. But the prep classes, anything like that, to get you prepared. That's
I will help you get there the right way. But Mama give me $500,000 to cheat. Hell no. Mama give me $2 to cheat. Hell no.
How long do you think this has been going on? I know
this has been going on since the beginning of time. Let's just be real. Let's be real.
I know this is nothing new.
This is absolutely nothing new. This has been going on. They just decided all of a sudden, for some reason, okay, we're going to call out all these people. I don't know why. I don't know what made the FBI decide this was the time to call this out, because this has been going on since the beginning of schools. Let's be 100% real. People with money, of course, white people with privilege, have always done things. Come on. Somebody done went to school and bought the library, and they kids go to school. There's legacy programs where if I come in and I went to the school, if I get in and I work hard and I get into the school, my child is automatically accepted. How is that fair? None of it is fair. That's the reality. None of it is fair.
Mm-hmm. Especially when those of us who aren't privileged, who aren't rich, who aren't affluent,
legacy.
We have to bust our ass and go above and beyond and apply for this scholarship and that scholarship, financial aid, all of that crap just to barely get in.
But let's not sit here and think that these are the first people to ever do it. No, they're just one in a long line of them. Somebody said their neighbors were going to be so embarrassed. I'm like, why would their neighbors be embarrassed? Their neighbors do it too. Come on. Why would
their neighbors care?
Right. Well, this is what wealthy people do.
Yeah.
This is how they spend their money. So I don't have a problem with that. I've been hearing stories with, they took scholarships from students who could have gotten into school on swimming scholarships and crew scholarships. How? They didn't get. Their mama paid $500,000 to get them in school. She better be able to pay for school.
Right.
I don't think I did not hear in the story at all, and I doubt very seriously if any of those kids went to school on scholarship. Somebody says, well, they took somebody's spot on the team. I don't necessarily think that's the case either, and this is why. One of the coaches specifically that they've been talking about is and he's like the upper echelon of coaches swimming coaches. His team always wins and does championships and things like that. I don't think he's going to risk that to get one person in school. I think all he did was padded his team with an extra 2 seats that he knows, okay, let me extra 2 to 5 seats. Okay, these 5 right here, this is my money. And then the rest of it is the team that's actually going to do the job. So
if you got people lying on their application, because for some college applications they want you to have accomplished certain things. Now, if you're lying about that and then having somebody to say,
they were doing. That's not what they were doing.
I think that is what they were doing in one case.
No, that's the only stories that I have heard is what they have done is they said we're on these teams and the coach is the one who gets them. The coach recommends them. It's not the necessary. They're lying on the application, period.
Yeah.
But they would still not be taking a spot. What I'm saying is,
you're trying to say that the coach created 2 extra spots.
That's what I believe. The coaches are creating
saying it like
additional
you know for a fact.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, you can't argue my point if yours is fictional as well.
No, you were going to a different point.
You didn't let me go there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This is why we can't talk.
Anywho, my point is, I believe that they were creating additional spots because I don't think they were risking their teams.
Okay,
because
but that may not be the case.
It may not be the case, but understand they still get paid.
Who?
For coaches. They still get paid on how well their teams do. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they were risking their pocket for this money.
Why not? They had no intentions of getting caught.
Because this dude was a championship coach.
You're talking about one specific example.
Specific coach.
Who was the kids you're talking about?
The kids that went were Lori Laughlin's kids got in.
Okay, you're talking about
and so I'm just saying
this sounds very specific.
I'm just saying that I think that they probably pad extra seats that way they don't mess up their teams.
Okay,
that's my theory, my thought.
Okay.
That's my theory, my thought process. So I don't think they were taking extra somebody's seat there. I think all they were doing was taking somebody's seat in the school.
Okay,
that would have probably went to either someone who worked hard and deserved to get there, or somebody who would have been on scholarship and still worked hard to get there.
That's the point I was trying to make that you didn't let me make. But I'm glad you came full circle.
Y'all can see what I was throwing out at him. Anywho, so I don't believe any of these people deserve jail.
Why not?
Dang.
Well, yeah.
Not the parents that did this. I don't think they deserve jail. I think we have too many people in jail, period, that are not there for a good reason. Bottom line, to go to jail, I think you need to be a danger to yourself or others, period. If you're not a danger to anybody, then punishment needs to come a different way. I'm not saying they don't need to be punished. I'm just saying I don't think jail time is right.
So, okay. Well, when I hear what you're saying, and
I don't want to pay. I'm tired.
I understand.
I'm tired of paying people's bills.
But when you look at all the people that, and all of these stories have been coming out, especially now since this college scam came out, of all the people that have been locked up because they put somebody else's address for their kids to go to a better school. They don't need to be in jail either. I'm saying that they are in jail. I understand
have got to change
what you're saying. Okay, there we go.
Two wrongs don't make a right. We have got to change the system.
All I'm saying is I don't think they should get a pass. If jail is what we do, they shouldn't get a pass because you don't feel like it.
No, I'm not saying
they're wrong.
I'm not saying that by any means. I'm saying this system, this is a waste of money. It is a waste of taxpayer dollars to put a parent in jail for getting their child into a better school. To put a parent in jail for getting their child into school. It is a waste of money. That person is in jail, not making money, and we are paying their bills. I am tired of that, period. Okay. I don't care who it is. You go down the street and you knock a stop sign down, and that's illegal. I don't want you to go to jail for it because that's a waste of my money now. I'd rather you be set out on that street to put that sign back up, put some more signs back up,
or hold it up until
hold it up until anything. But there is a punishment, and I do believe there is a punishment for them. One, the parents, I don't think need to go to jail. I think they need to pay restitution. But that restitution, I do not believe needs to go into the system, and it definitely don't need to go to that college because that college got their money anyway because they just they got their money through the tuition that kid paid. Period. So it doesn't need to go to that college. I think what they need to do is take that $1 million she paid, that $15,000 Felicity Huffman paid, and every bit of money that everybody else paid, put it into a fund. And for anybody who has a student loan, it needs to go into the student loan system and pay off people's student loans. So people who actually deserve, because you don't know whose seat they took. There's no way we can figure that out. I don't believe they would keep records like that, but maybe they do. But instead, just put that money into a pot and then put it into the student loan system, average it out about through how many people are in the student loan system, and that comes off what they owe. And then
like somebody try to get their student loans paid.
You doggone Skippy. And then, well, not only that, you also take now the guy who did the scheme,
organized it all.
Oh yeah, now him and the coaches who lied. The coaches who lied need to be fired, and they need to do the same. They need to pay the money back that they got into that same pot. The guy who did the system, he needs to pay the money he got back into that same pot, and he need to be on house arrest for 5 to 10 years.
Why?
Because if you're gonna give him 5 to 10 years in jail, give him 5 to 10 years someplace where he got to pay the bills.
Okay.
He's responsible for his own bills.
Okay.
If you got house arrest, then I wouldn't even mind if the parents got house arrest 5 to 10 years. After 10 years sitting in your house, you're not going to be happy.
Well, if you got $500,000 to pay for something like this, you might have a pretty good house.
You might have a good house, but
I guarantee you, it's not going to be you stay at your house. I'm sure they're going to have. I mean,
nope.
You're saying you won't let them go nowhere?
5 to 10 years
They're
in the
going
house.
to church. They're going to the club. They still kicking it.
They can go to church on the internet.
They just have a curfew.
They can go to church on the internet.
Online. Televangelists.
And you put a little thing on their computer so you can
swipe
watch it
and put the donation.
That too. But put a little thing on their computer so you can watch what they do. That way they can't access no porn, can't get happy. They can't.
All you need is an imagination. You can get happy.
Well, hey, they have an imagination in their house. They can't access nothing but what they supposed to. And nowadays, people can work online. So they can get them a little job and they can keep their bills paid. And I don't have to pay for them to eat. You can have the food service delivered to their house. And you, instead of having wardens, have, men who deliver food service and no, we ain't talking to you. No conversations. They can't be there for too long. No. House arrest.
Okay. I'll let you have that. I heard Netflix let Aunt Becky go.
Netflix
from Fuller
did.
House.
Hallmark did. She
used to do the Hallmark movies too?
She was in the middle of filming a movie when all this happened and she came home. And then Felicity Huffman, they came into her house, guns drawn.
Really?
Yes. Had her at gunpoint, screaming in the middle of the night.
I'm not going to go with my guns to the woman that paid $15,000. Maybe the one that paid $500,000 times 2. Oh, okay.
So I assume they would have done her the same way, but she wasn't in the country.
Because she was filming outside of the country?
Okay.
Or do you think she knew something?
She was actually filming in Canada. She was called in off the set.
Wow.
And I am assuming they told her way before she even got here that, hey, you ain't got a job no more. I mean, she literally lost everything within 24 hours. All because she paid $1 million for her kids to get into school.
And, as a parent, I feel like some parents will do whatever,
right?
To try and
if you had it,
provide a better life for your child.
If you had
an education
it,
for your
say
child.
it was $500. Would you do it to get your kid into school?
Now, the thing I have a problem with is the cheating. I wouldn't, try to skirt the system in order to do it.
But if you could get them to the top of the list, even if they didn't cheat on tests, you could just throw them up to the top of the list with $500, guaranteed they'll get into the school.
But what is that what is that $500 for? Like, just to be on the list, or just like
no, it guarantees you a spot in the school. So
that sounds like skirting the system a little bit.
Well, it is to some degree. It's just skirting the admission system because they can't take every kid. So some kids get waitlisted. And if it could guarantee you weren't on the wait list and you were the one accepted, would you do it? See, and I think that's the hard thing for a parent to decide, because a lot of parents would. If my child has done the work, deserves to get into the school, can actually,
and we don't
get
have to be out here trying to change test scores or anything like that.
Yeah, and just pay $500 and get them to the top of the list. A whole lot of parents would do that.
That's just like paying the $25 administration or application fee when you don't know what's going to be guaranteed. I feel like it's the same thing.
Right. So, a whole lot of parents would do it. It's not that they wouldn't. It's just this. I think a lot of people we don't take this lightly, because Black people or people of color have to work so hard
at everything
to get just the crumbs that you all waste. And this, it kind of hurts. It burns. But and I get that and I understand that. I just don't believe anytime you put a person in jail, it means we as taxpayers are paying their bills. We are footing the bill. And what makes it so bad is we footing the bill while the private company that owns and runs the prison is using those people as slave labor at making stuff for Walmarts and all kind of other companies. And they not getting any money paid back to them. So, and we not getting any money paid back to us. So it's we paying for them to live while rich people work off of, use them to get free labor. That's not right. The system is broken. And the system is broken because we have allowed it to be broken so long. We refuse to get involved. We refuse to be a part of. So it sucks. I don't think they need to go to jail. I do, however, think Manafort needed more than his little funky 47 months.
And then the cockiness behind him and his fourth president. Before you switch to Manafort, I know you want to go there. I just read that the guy who's behind this whole ringleader, his last name is Singer. They said some of the clients paid him between $250,000 and $450,000 per student. And some paid him as much as $6.5 million.
He needs to have to pay every penny of that back, and he need house arrest, just like Manafort. Manafort need house arrest.
I feel like I would make an example out of Manafort. I would put him in Gen Pop. I would, and I would pay somebody. I would pay somebody to whoop his ass. I would pay. Sign me up for that.
Manafort. Okay, we look at what happened to Aunt Becky in 24 hours.
Yes.
This
has been ongoing.
Look, all she did was got her children into school.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't deserve to go. That little girl sat there and said she didn't want to go. She said,
what about the other daughter?
The other daughter we haven't heard about. The first one, the oldest one, you keep hearing about because she's a social media guru and she does stuff with a makeup company, Sephora.
Okay.
So that you hear about her. So she's kind of on the scene. And that little girl said, I just wanted to go to school for the parties and for the games and the experience. She could have done that, got a friend that went to school, got an apartment off campus, and showed up at the games and the parties.
You could probably do that at a community college.
You can do that anywhere. You can do that in high school. You know how many high school kids get into college parties? Come on. But I don't know nothing about that. So, anywho, but Manafort, he frauds the government, the country, and the man been working with the enemy. No matter what y'all say, what y'all think, Russia is not the nice guys. Anybody out there who
no
think Russia
the picture
is nice,
that 45 is painting,
Russia
and these
is
Republicans
not the
are
nice
painting
guys
about Russia right now.
Okay, this is crazy, and he got. Do you know black people on the streets that had a nickel bag been in jail for 15 years, and this man got 47 months.
Didn't the lady who voted, who wasn't supposed to vote, the black lady, didn't she get like 6 years or something for that?
Yes.
And he got how long?
47 months. For those that don't know, that adds up to like 4.2, something like that. I had to do the math again. But
4 years is 48 months.
He got 47 months.
Okay, so almost 4 years.
I'm PO'd.
I feel like America should be PO'd.
I mean,
and then the fact that you lied to Congress too, convicted for lying.
The old white man that put him. He didn't hurt anybody.
We don't get the benefit. We don't get that benefit.
Are you freaking kidding me?
But of course, he has that privilege. Because even white men who do hurt people, they get that same sentiment. What about the little boys who threw the brick over the bridge and killed that person, and they didn't get jail time? I don't think, because they
hadn't been black kids.
Oh, they probably wouldn't have survived. They wouldn't have made it to trial.
But now here's the kicker. The other judge gave him another 47 months. So basically, I think he's gonna spend like roughly 10 years in jail.
I can't see that. I can't see 10 years.
And I still don't think 10 years is fair. And again, I don't think he should be in jail. He's not a harm to anyone, but
I don't know that with him being out and the access that he has, he could,
and that's why I'm saying house arrest, take his computers, take his peoples. You can they put black folk on house arrest all the time. They can't do nothing.
Well, but those black folks also don't have access to Russians.
You're right.
Access to people who hack.
He might need to be in jail. You're right about that.
Yeah, you forget. You just said that Russia's not our friend.
Yeah, he might need to be in jail.
You want to put their friend on house arrest?
He might need to be behind them bars.
Yeah.
So it's been a unfair week for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people. Really, that's the best I can say. It's been an unfair week. But the highlight of my week, guess what?
What?
Chip and Dale are back.
The
Rescue Squirrels.
Okay, give me context.
Everybody out there knows.
I know who Chip and Dale is, but like, they're back. What are you talking about?
Squirrels that always come every year and get to do fornicating on my tree.
I'm thinking that you're trying to let us know that like live action Chip and Dale show is coming back. The cartoon is coming back. They're doing a movie about it.
No, my squirrels are back. Yes, they were out playing last weekend. I didn't tell you about it because you were on your trip.
I didn't want to know about it.
Let's go. Anyhow, I got video this time.
Okay.
So you got to post a video
Of
a Chip and Dale.
I got to post a video where?
On the show or with the show.
Okay.
Or on Facebook. I don't care.
Okay.
Chip and Dale are back.
Right on.
So I sat there. I think I was just like,
see,
popcorn.
This is like a different version of the cat lady. Like, the cat lady is so excited about her cats. You're at home
to see Chip
looking out your window, not just being nosy on folk. You're watching squirrels.
Man, these two squirrels, they kill me. They climb. I mean, one's climbing up the tree.
Listen to your
grabs
excitement.
Him and throws him down.
As
I mean,
you talk
he got
about
his
these
arms
squirrels.
wrapped around her. I'm like, good God.
And how does that make you feel?
It don't make me feel like that, you nasty little devil. But it's just hilarious to watch these two squirrels. And they did it for like 30 minutes to an hour. Just
how long is this video you got? How long did you watch them?
It's just 2 minutes. I probably watched them for about 10, 15, but it's just 2 minutes long.
Lord have mercy.
So Chip and Dale are back. Yay.
Congratulations. That's all I can say.
Anywho, I like my squirrels. So I told the people that I would video, and I got some video at the very beginning of the video. You see me going back and forth because I'm trying to keep up with the squirrels. I ain't as fast as the squirrels. Finally, when they get on the tree, that's when I was able to get them.
And it's a steady video.
Yeah.
This is one thing I never thought you would do. Record some squirrels.
When you see these two squirrels, you'll see why I'm so engaged in these freaking squirrels.
Okay. All right on.
I need to put my focus a camera out there so I get them.
It's not that
people
serious.
watch like birds on TV. Birds. I think the eagle had an egg hatching, and just people were just watching it on the internet. They watch my squirrels like that.
Okay. Right on. So. You got faith, so I got faith too.
Anyway, I don't like you back. You can leave again. You're just so mean and hateful. Why can't you just be excited?
I am excited about your squirrels.
Whatever. Goodbye, people. Peace. I'm gonna go sadly home. Have a good one.
And play with your squirrels.
No, it's too cold. They're inside with their nuts now.
Inside with their nuts.
You were taking that the wrong way. Goodbye, everybody.
Peace.